An owl suddenly stands outside the window. Aunt Nika quickly opens the window and asks the owl why she comes to her house. But the owl doesn't say a word. She just stands there staring at Aunt Nika. Looks like she needs some help. Although Aunt Nika is an animal researcher, she only understands half of the bird language. Not to mention, this owl just keeps silent and stands there for hours. So, what does she want? Right now, the temperature outside is 40 degrees. The owl's breathing also becomes much heavier. To prevent the owl from getting heat stroke, Aunt Nika takes out the nebulizer and help lower her body temperature. The owl doesn't dodge either. On the contrary, she seems to really enjoy it. She might know Aunt Nika has good intentions. Aunt Nika asks the owl again, why does she come here? But the owl doesn't respond. Aunt Nika also leaves after giving her some water. Few hours later, Aunt Nika notices the owl haven't left. She even enjoys sunbathing, and her big round eyes are still glued to Aunt Nika. Her eyes seem tender. Nika is a bit confused. Maybe this owl wants to be adopted by her? Meanwhile, the owlet behind Nika suddenly screams. Nika looks at the owl standing outside the window, then finally makes out everything. Turns out the owl comes here to find her owlet. A few months ago, Nika's cat spotted an injured owlet near her house. So, Nika took him home and looked after him. Now his injury has completely healed. Looks like the mother owl comes here for him. Aunt Nika asks the owl, will she come to pick her owlet up a few days later? Because her owlet needs another checkup. Seeing the mother owl not answering, Aunt Nika takes out a toy to exchange. But the mother owl obviously disagrees. She hoots, yet Nika fails to understand what she wants. In the end, the mother owl accepts the gift from Aunt Nika, as if she agreed to Aunt Nika's suggestion. Before leaving, the mother owl bows to thank Aunt Nika. In the early morning after a few days, the mother owl comes and stands outside the window with a letter. Aunt Nika doesn't understand, so she opens the window. She asks the mother owl if this is her letter. The mother owl stares at Nika, like, why don't you take the letter? Are you waiting for me to open it? Nika reaches out and takes the letter. However, the mother owl still bits the letter and doesn't let go. Aunt Nika asks the mother owl whether there is a mistake. But the owl be like, there is no mistake, that's your letter. If it's my letter, then stop biting it. Yet the owl still doesn't let it go. You take my baby home first, then I'll give you your letter. Aunt Nika presses a few times on the owl's nose to express that she agrees. The owl finally releases the letter. Aunt Nika pays for that by giving her a toy. But the mother owl looks serious as if she wants to say, I don't need toys. Give me back my baby. Aunt Nika turns to look at the owlet behind her. Looks like he misses his mother too. In the end, Aunt Nika decides to let them reunite. All beings have souls. Protecting animals is what we should do. The whole swan family stops in the middle of the road. We can't explain why they suddenly stop moving. A little swan leans closely to her mother, while her father quietly protects their family. Luckily, a traffic policeman arrives in time. So, everything is under control. But why did the swan family go to the prosperous city? A month ago, the swans welcome their new babies in the reed, while the wife swan lays and incubates their eggs. The husband is in charge of guarding. He knows that now she only needs someone to support and protect her. A few days later, the mother swan laid a total of 9 eggs. But the official day the eggs hatch was still a while away. To make sure their babies can be born healthily, the mother swan would turn her eggs over again after a while, then lies on top and continues to incubate her eggs. Every day, this movement is repeated many times. For the safety of the babies, the mother swan is so careful. She just wants her cygnets to be safe. If you also think the maternal love is great, please press the heart button. The moment, the father swan would be around to protect his family from all potential threats. Not long after the first cygnet was born, the father swan quickly ran inside. His heart is filled with joy. A few days later, the other eggs hatched and more cygnets came out one by one. They snuggled into their mother's lap, filled with curiosity for the outside world. But the mother swan's mission hasn't done yet. She needs to hatch the remaining eggs. When the mother swan is attentively incubating eggs, the fluffy babies gradually opened their eyes. The mother swan brushed the cygnet's feathers that had just been born. Her husband quietly stood next to her. The newborn cygnets are smart and are always close to their mother. After incubating eggs for half a month, the mother swan finally welcomes almost all her cygnets. There's only one egg left, still not hatching. But no mother will throw her baby away. So, she continues to incubate. The father swan patiently waits by her side. Luckily, their effort paid off in the end. The cygnet is finally born. The whole swan family has to make a long journey. But the cygnets are cowardly. From beginning to end, they don't dare to step into the water. Under the constant support of their mother, the cygnets slowly jump into the water. The whole family starts swimming in the middle of the lake. But there are still cygnets that don't dare to swim. The father swan just let them ride on his back. Cygnets follows every of their mother's steps. Their father is in the back to make sure no cygnet fall. But as she keeps going, mother swan takes the whole family to the city. They feel so helpless. They've also become special on the street. Finally, thanks to the help of an old woman, the swan family is back in the lake. After a few hours having fun on the water, the swan family prepares to go ashore. The mother leads the way, while her cygnets are squirming behind her mother. Their father urges the cygnets to hurry up. Only when they go up will it be able to come ashore. The father is also worried about his cygnets. Under the guidance of her mother, the whole family goes to the path by the lake. Due to long walk, the swan couple had to stop temporarily to rest. Seeing her mother brushing her hair, the cygnets also learned from her mother. Turns out that such a young swan has learned to be beautiful. After resting for a while, the swan family are on their way again. The babies continue following their mother. He's so cute. It isn't long before they reach their destination. The mother swan immediately jumps into the water. Her cygnets realize, then also line up in a neat row to follow her. The moment is so warm and beautiful. Hope that everyone can treat every single life kindly. Protecting the ecosystem and the environment is our common responsibility. The homeowner opens the window and feels surprised. What is this? Suddenly, another head pops out from behind. Look at that cruel look on his face. Surely this is the husband? Behind him is probably his wife. It turns out that they have built a nest in the homeowner's flower pot. Just a few days later there are a few more eggs in the flower pot. The pair of birds are both very protective. The homeowner counts out 6 eggs at once, while they perch from high up and look down on him. But for the sake of getting food, there is now only one bird left to watch. This one is extremely ferocious. Later, the homeowner learns that they are kestrels, known as a small bird of prey. These 2 birds are very affectionate. They will take turns incubating their eggs, then go out hunting. The homeowner is also a warm-hearted person. Seeing the bird get tired after incubating eggs, they even prepare chicken breast for her. It's so comfortable for them to be able to incubate eggs. At the same time have someone feed them. Not long after, the little kestrels break out of their shells. The parent kestrels are now busy looking after their chicks. These little kids grow up so fast. The more they eat, the bigger they get. It can be said that they become different every day. But there is still one that hasn't hatched yet. The mother kestrel has to take care of 6 babies, so she feels very tired. Every day, the homeowner gives them a huge piece of chicken breast. This also helps the kestrel couple a lot. Of course, the food given is much better. The homeowner also discovers a kestrel with a cold. She wants to give him some food. Unexpectedly, the mother kestrel doesn't let her touch him. After a week, the little kestrels now grow several times larger. But they seem a bit ugly. A few more days later, these kids have all changed. They really take after their mother. But as the little birds grow up, the amount of food they consume also becomes much larger. Feels like they have fully grown their wings. In the blink of an eye, a month has passed. It's time to say goodbye to them. The mother kestrel has also begun teaching her baby birds how to fly. For young birds that have never flown, looking down from the 10th floor is such a scary experience. Not to mention anything about flying down from here. They stand at the railing with their wings raised high. Then imagine their mother flying. Just a few days later all 6 birds have got used to the height. Their mother is also here, but she doesn't provide them with food. She wants to force her baby birds to fly. The brave little birds also try to fly, but everything seems difficult at first. The first step out is fine, but the mother bird is already at a high place watching her babies fly over. The volunteer then spots a small bird that can't fly yet, even falls on the ground. The second day, all 6 little birds are able to fly. They begin to flutter across the sky. After flying for a while, they have to stop to rest. The scene that touches us has appeared. After the little birds all learn to fly, the mother kestrel also comes back. She stares at the room owner, as if wanting to thank the good person who helped her. Later, the owner discovers that she often flies here, just to say hello to the room owner and then flies away. Grandma accidentally rescued 4 big white geese. Little did she know that they would become so adept at repaying kindness. Whenever a stranger approached the geese, they immediately morphed into Grandma's personal bodyguards, charging forward menacingly and preventing anyone from getting too close. Even the cameraman who was filming the scene couldn't approach Grandma. The 4 geese drove him out of the house, continually honking and hissing at him. The poor guy cried all the way, just wanting to go home to his mother. Despite their aggressive behavior towards others, the geese were like obedient babies in front of Grandma. Whenever she went for a walk, they would follow her in an orderly line, their tiny legs moving as fast as they could. If Grandma ran, they would flap their wings and take off after her, terrified of losing sight of her. At this time, those who find the geese very sentient, then let your comments below. When encountering a dog during their walk, the geese would also show their fierce side, scaring the dog and its owner into retreat. The dog finally managed to escape back into its owner's arms, narrowly avoiding a calamity. In fact, the geese behaved this way to protect Grandma. However, Grandma was worried that they might hurt someone, so she took the geese back home, and confined them in the yard for reflection. This move made the geese anxious. They kept pecking at the glass. Trying to signal Grandma to open the door and let them in. Seeing that Grandma ignored them, the little guys could only follow Grandma's shadow. No matter which room Grandma went to, they would immediately strut and run after her. Looking adorable and funny, they simply couldn't leave Grandma for a moment. But why were the geese so understanding and obedient? Turned out that an accident 2 years ago made Grandma lose her closest family. Just when Grandma felt most lonely and hopeless, she encountered these geese that were about to be served on the dinner table. Feeling pity for them, Grandma bought and brought them home for careful care. Since then, the geese had a warm home, and they also knew how to be grateful. They earnestly guarded and accompanied Grandma all the time, bringing her many joyful moments. Without Grandma's kind rescue, the geese wouldn't have had their beautiful life today. But really, for Grandma, The appearance of the geese also became a healing medicine. Without their warm companionship, she might have become even more lonely and helpless. Now, whenever Grandma had free time, she would take the geese to play by the sea. A woman with a flock of geese forms a beautiful scene against the backdrop of the seawater. Later, the story of Grandma and her 4 goose bodyguards also caught the attention of many netizens. Everyone was worried that the geese would encounter dangers while accompanying Grandma outside. So they specially set up a large goose warning sign at the intersection.